Alrighty, dighty. Okay, so we are live for the first time in I don't know how long. Well, no, I know how long it's been. It has been a long time since I've done a live stream, but just getting out the word to people that we are live. So sharing this. Da, 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 da. Hello. Gonna be with you guys in just a sec. I'm just getting the word out on the different platforms and whatnot. It has been a long time since I've streamed, so it is good to see people again. So hello to those of you that are in the chat so far. Like I said, just getting this spread out on Twitter. Reacting to the 2022 Manga of the Year stream. Come join in. Save that link. That being said, I do hope that everybody that is here actually was able to just skip over Don, please. My heart can't take it, dude. That so many of the votes in this entire bracket were hard. Like, I was one of the people that helped to create the bracket itself with the different picks, and it hurt me so much. Putting Ranger Reject and Undead Unluck together, that itself was hard. So yes, will you make more videos on a daily basis after this? So I'm gonna try to upload weekly and or stream weekly. That is my goal for the future. I do have some plans in January for a very big January of manga recommendations and whatnot with that. So we'll see what happens with it. But I am, now that I have an office space again and I actually can record, yes, I will absolutely be putting out more content. Maybe not daily content because I still have 2 jobs, but yeah. So let me tweet this out here. All right, so, and then sharing it around. I would honestly, I would enjoy streaming weekly. Whether I'm talking manga or I'm playing video games, I would absolutely love to do so. Thursday is currently my main day off during the week, so I absolutely could do this during that time. But we'll see what the new year brings in, because I do want to put out more content, and I do enjoy streaming when I can. So, let's see here. Sharing to the people I know. All right, got that, and sharing to one more place. And by one more place, I mean Twitter, or not Twitter, I mean Discord. Paste. And over in here, paste. Okay. Roboco was robbed. I fought very hard to make sure that Roboco did not make it into this stream, honestly. With everything else that was in here, with all the drama that was going on with the judging and everything else, I did not want Roboco in here. While I enjoy Roboco, it was not a Manga of the Year 2022 contender. I'm just being honest with that. Let's see here. I will say that I enjoy your takes on manga. You're definitely a great manga content creator in my books. I appreciate that. I love reading manga. I love reacting to manga. I love recommending manga. So I'm glad that that has propelled me enough to have the base that I do with people. And I'm very excited for next year to give more takes on it. I have more plans in the works. I don't want to promise anything at this point because there were a lot of things that I tried to promise last year, and because of a lot of big life events, which if you saw my return video, there was a reason why I didn't do as much as I did. Like, I don't want to promise anything, but I have things that I really want to do. Hey, Axel, we won. Thank you, Axel, for the the objective takes. Oh my god, the objective takes from the stream. It was a thing. And yes, Crash, like, hi, I am very tired too. But it was definitely a storm of things from yesterday. Are you going to react to the whole 5.5 hours? No, I'm not. This is more or less going to be a cliff notes of certain things to it. So I'm going to try and be more condensed. It was a very long stream yesterday. It was super long, but oh my, it was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it. Yes, James got to draw the salty Roboco on the thumbnail, and yes, Roboco got put in the bracket every now and then. So yeah. So that being said, once again, hello everyone that is joining right now from the stream. Again, it is great to be back. I am here to give my thoughts on the Manga of the Year stream, and it was a trip. Oh, thanks again for taking part. You guys were totally right in the call afterwards about me getting a ton of backlash for the results, but I had a blast talking with y'all, and I hope I can relax tomorrow. Roger, thank you again for hosting. Thank you again for inviting me back. It was an absolute blast as always. Again, you did not deserve any of the flack and the backlash that you got, but I think you put on one hell of a stream yesterday, and it was phenomenal. And I hope that everyone here, I hope that if you didn't watch the stream already, please do, because it was a really fun and enjoyable 6 hours of my life. And yeah, like I said, I really want to, so just reacting to the comments, I know there's a bit of delay on this, but there was a lot of front-loaded backlash, and there was a lot of back-ended backlash for the stream. There was a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to go into the specifics of it, but there was a lot of drama. I'm glad we're past it. So at this point, let's get into discussing things. So I wanted to start off with, going over the general votes and the judge votes. Because one of the things that definitely got misconstrued at the beginning was that with the popular votes, a lot of people thought, oh, well, this is it. No, we had judge votes that we were able to give to. And I'm really glad that we had the variety that we did with the judge votes. And I at the end of the day, I knew that we weren't going to please everybody, but I think that we did a really good job with what we had. Obviously, when it comes to the popular votes, Shonen, and especially Shonen Jump, are always going to have this inherent advantage, just because Shonen Jump is so widely available compared to literally anything else. And it has been that way for decades. We have always, been exposed to Shonen Jump with, the monthly magazines that we had back in the day. And the fact that we have, free access, free legal access, official ones at that, giving us access to all the Shonen Jump stuff, it's always going to be popular and accessible. I'm not surprised by anything that made it into the popular votes, per se, but I do want to say that in the end, for the things that were at the bottom of the popular vote, if any one big streamer, Twitter person, YouTube personality, if anyone had really made a big push for any series that did not make it originally into the top 16, the bottom placed series in the top 16 for the popular vote only had 154 votes. So if any one person any one person had managed to, really put it out there and be like, hey, I really need you to vote for this series, absolutely could have made it. So it's one of those things where, like, the popular vote was just that. It was a popular vote. And that is at least why we had the judge votes, which, an insider thing on that, we originally were going to have only 8 judge votes. And we were able to, as a group, we were able to say, hey, can we do 12 series instead? And we got it. And thanks to having that 12 votes, or the 12 judge picks, we were able to get a lot more variety in it. So at the end of the day, after all the judges deliberated on this, and each of us judges was able to recommend 8 picks, and then from those 8 picks that we each put in, whatever had the most votes is what got into the judge votes for the judge picks. So we ended up with Blue Box, Children of the Whales, Frieren, Golden Kamui, Kaguya-sama, Mission Yozakura Family, Oshi no Ko, Ranger Reject, A Sign of Affection, Vinland Saga, Witch Hat Atelier, and Witch Watch. Which, honestly speaking, I'm happy with what we got. I am happy with what we got because we did get a lot of variety. We got 3 different demographics. We got multiple different magazines represented in all this. We got to see different genres, things that ended, things that are ongoing, weekly series, monthly series. We got a lot that was in this, and I'm very happy with it. For transparency on my part, if you want to know what my 8 picks were originally, my original 8 picks for judge picks were Soso no Frieren, Ranger Reject, Chojin X, Oshi no Ko, Witch Hat Atelier, Welcome to the Demon School Iruma-kun, and Mission Yozakura Family. So I mean, that being said, in terms of what I had for my own top 8 picks, I did get a lot in there. Now that being said, when we were deliberating and moving votes around, I did swap out my Iruma vote for A Sign of Affection, and I am so glad that I switched my vote to Sign of Affection and got that into this stream, because it, like, A Sign of Affection, as many of you saw from this stream, was a very, very popular series once we all got to read it. And it really was a phenomenal read. I cannot recommend A Sign of Affection enough. And you can read it. There are physical volumes that you can buy, and it also has an official simulpub. You do have to pay for the simulpub, but like, it is something, again, that is available legally. So, and that being said, pretty much everything that's on the list is something that you can read in some official capacity in some way. So a lot of stuff that you guys can buy, read, enjoy for yourselves. Obviously, there's the there's the other free way to read things as well. That is how a lot of us caught up on things. But like, everything that was voted in is something that is definitely worth reading. So that being said, I know I was on a bit of a rant for a period of time there. Do want to acknowledge some of the comments and whatnot. But let's see here. I didn't know what Frieren was about, but I'm definitely checking out the anime next year from what you guys said. So fun fact for those of you that weren't there when it happened, Soso no Frieren is actually what made my channel blow up bigger than what it was. Because for those that don't remember, Masked Man had a recommend me manga video that I got to be featured on. And I went from a channel with like 70 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers in like 24 hours, which was insane for a channel that was so small at the time. Soso no Frieren is great. Read it. It is worth all the hype. When you say freeway, what do you mean by that? I mean, come on. You know the pirate way. You know the pirate way. I don't know why I moved my arms like that, but what else do we have in the stream here? I think my big gripe is the usual Jump Plus is totally gonna own Shonen Jump and the main magazine industry discussion, which I feel ignores a lot of things about the magazine, the Jump catalog. Yeah, I like the Jump Plus stuff is great, but there at the end of the day, the Shonen Jump stuff is still great as well. I think a big part of it is because with Jump Plus, there is a lot more variety there compared to necessarily what you see in Shonen Jump. Like with Shonen Jump, regardless of what your thoughts are on any individual series, any series that is put in the magazine is put in there for a reason. Somebody, an editorial or whatnot, thinks that if it strikes the right chord, this is a series that is going to be successful and continue running in the magazine. Contrary to any thoughts you might have on a series being absolutely whack or whatnot, like that is the goal for any series. With Jump Plus, they're able to just, they're able to put out a wider net. So that's just kind of how it is. What else we got in the chat? Let's see here. I'm surprised so many of the judges actually read most of the manga and made for a very balanced discussion. So a big part of that is a lot of the series that were in the popular vote were ones that were part of like the discussion in last year. So a lot of people were reading the things that were mentioned last year. With the judge choices, because we were the ones voting on series that we wanted to put in, a lot of the ones that were put in were ones that many of us read. So I was so happy. So happy with the amount of reading that was done this year by people to put in a genuine effort to give a more accurate discussion on things and like how it should be. So I was very happy with that. For those that don't know, just giving, again, transparency on my own part, of the 28 series that we had, I read 23 of the 28 manga regularly before we had the bracket. And I was able to catch up on 3 more of those by the time that we had the stream. So I had read 26 of the 28 manga that were a part of it. The only 2 that I did not read were Kaguya-sama and Berserk. And the Berserk part is on me. I've always had this thing where like I'm going to have this seinen pilgrimage where I read Berserk, Vagabond, and Poon Poon because that is the whole thing online is the whole seinen, those 3. So I still plan on reading like Berserk. I just wasn't necessarily anticipating them actually continuing it this year, and then they did. But I kind of made the executive decision where I was just like, okay, this is another one of those series where it only had a handful of chapters this year, and I have to read a lot in order to catch up to get to that point. So I kind of put that one off. For Kaguya, I had in one of my group chats that I'm in, I had this discussion, and I was just like, okay, I've got to read Golden Kamui or Kaguya-sama. If I can only read one, which one should I read first? The consent was Golden Kamui, and I was very happy that I picked it. So, yeah. So I'm overall I'm very happy with how many of the manga the judges all voted for and then ended up reading. Let's see here. Saying hello to everyone again that has joined the chat. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining me on my first stream in a long time. Great to see everyone. What else do we have in here? Wonder how it would be if people read the chapters that encompass the year, even if they hadn't read anything else. I started reading Black Clover during the tournament arc and liked it. So despite a lot of the flack that it had, like Black Clover, I still enjoy it. It's not something that, a lot of the stuff that, like, compared to everything else that happened, like, this year, I did not think Black Clover was in contention for the Manga of the Year title. So, there is that. But there's a lot of stuff that goes missed. And there was a lot of things that people were just kind of like, oh, well, I haven't read this, so why is this even a thing? It's just like, well, we're here. This year we were here as judges to give a more well-rounded discussion on things. Just not... oh my god, completely lost my train of thought on that. Oh, this is how you can tell it's live, because I just, there's a lot of things that go untalked about, and I'm really glad that at least this year we were able to discuss things and whatnot. Question on here. What were the 3 that you caught up on? So the 3 series that I caught up on for this stream were Children of the Whales, A Sign of Affection, and Golden Kamui. And Golden Kamui I caught up on in the span of like 5 days. And I said it at the beginning of the stream, but I woke up at 4 a.m. the morning of the stream to finish catching up on Golden Kamui before I went to work, to then, like, have a half day of work, come back and do the stream, and then go to my part-time job that night. So, my god, I had very limited sleep, honestly, going that entire day yesterday. And I, because of my own decisions, I only, like, slept 4 hours in, like, the past 2 days prior to that, too. So it was nice to actually be able to sleep in today and actually recover. I am, like, all in comfy clothes today, too, because I don't have to go anywhere. I can just be home. I can stream in my office. It's so good. So, and that being said, I posted on this about Twitter, too. I'm very excited to actually be able to get back and read the things that I regularly read, too. For those of you that aren't aware, I read way too many manga, manhwa, and webtoons for my own good. In terms of my ongoing stuff, I do legitimately keep up with over 200 different series on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. And I put off my reading for a couple weeks in order to make sure that I caught up on what I did. So I'm very excited to get back to reading. I'm very excited to get back to playing Pokemon because I put off Scarlet and Violet for so long, and it hurts that I did because I was really enjoying my Scarlet version and I didn't finish it yet. So I'm very excited to get back to playing Pokemon. And I might stream it. That being said, I'm debating if I would put it on this channel or make a separate video gaming channel thing. So we'll see what happens. Catching back up on some of the stuff in here. Where can we watch that video with you and Masked Man? I think I have that linked on my YouTube channel. In a playlist of, like, videos I've appeared in on other people's channels. I think it's there. If it's not, I'll make sure that it is there, or I'll link it in the description or something like that. Hey Axel, I love how Yozakura got the respect it deserved. Yes, Yozakura absolutely deserved the respect that it got this year, because Momo Yozakura was one of the best antagonists of the year. And like I said during the stream, this was absolutely the year of the antagonist, and there were just so many that were great across the board. Any favorite series from Weekly Shonen Sunday? So obviously I enjoy Frieren. Absolutely enjoy Frieren. I didn't read it last year, but I did catch up for this year. I really love Komi Can't Communicate. And I tried to read a few other Shonen Sunday things, but the problem is that not all of them have consistent fan translations, so that is a kind of unfortunate thing. But yeah, Frieren and Komi are definitely my favorites. I really enjoyed the anime for Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle, and I need to read the manga on that, so that is another one that I recommend as well. Is your enjoyment of a series I lost track of that comment. Is your enjoyment of a series hindered when you binge it like that? No. I would not say that my enjoyment is hindered by it. There is definitely an argument that can be made for weekly reading, monthly reading, and binge reading. And with binge reading, you're able to read everything in one go. I'm someone that I read very fast when I want to read fast. I actually read like 120 some chapters of Golden Kamuy in a day, of like the 4 or 5 days that I used to catch up to it. So I wouldn't say my enjoyment in it is hindered at all. It is definitely a different experience, but still an enjoyable one. My point was, if the judges may not have the time to read all 600 plus Kingdom chapters, they focus just on reading the 2022 chapters. I get that. I considered that myself. The problem with only reading the stuff that came out this year and not reading the stuff that came before it is that you might not get the context for why certain things are good. So for Kingdom, and last year I spent 2 weeks catching up on all 700 chapters of Kingdom that were out. If I didn't read all of that, I would not have been able to enjoy what I did. I definitely would not have been able to enjoy what I did this year as well. The fact you still look for a new series to get into as well is mental to me. I love new series. I love ongoing stuff. I love adding to my pile every year. I mean, one of the videos I did not release this year was my top 20 picks for the best new manga from 2021. I've still got that in the works. I'll release that next year, as well as work on one for 2022. But I do have to get through my research of what came out in 2022 so I can make an accurate video for it. What are your top 10 manga of the year yourself? You're going to have to wait for when I come out with the follow-up video to this before the end of the year. I will have a top 20 list, including manga that were not in this Manga of the Year stream. So I am absolutely saving views for that as well. So that's like reading an entire above average length manga every single week. Yeah, it was. What else did I miss on comments? I do absolutely need to read a lot more of the classics. That is something that I will definitely do in 2022. I still never even finished Crash's Shonen Jump challenge. I'm still stuck on Tegami no Baki. But I do have some recommendations based on what I've read so far. What else is here? Ranger Reject is Heat. Absolutely. It's just unfortunate that I got paired with what it did. Kinda wish Kodansha had a manga-esque service. I agree with that. They pick and choose what series that they want to put out on some platforms, but it's not everything, which is unfortunate. This was the year of Kyoichiro and Momo and Yozakura family, which to me, going from a Kyoichiro hater to finding him a badass in his development is why I put Yozafam above Undead Unluck. I respect the take. I do. I just had Undead Unluck as just overall, personally enjoying it more. Let's see here. The only time I'm hindered by binge would mostly be the comedy genre because jokes can get old too quick for me. I can agree with that to an extent. That being said, I did binge Komi, and I was able to enjoy that. So, you know, it is what it is for everybody. Thank you for stopping in, OG. See you later. Let's see here. So surprised Undead Unluck won, but it was my favorite of the year, so I'm super happy it did. I am shocked that it did as well. But oh my god, I was so happy with it. So I can agree. Weekly can be fun, but I think the danger can be getting in trying to predict the plot like it happens with many One Piece fans when Oda doesn't make their expectations. That's a whole separate discussion of so many things right there. But I digress. So before we get into this year's Manga of the Year stream and like the bracket and whatnot, I did want to go over last year's because it is it's a very interesting discussion to look at and see going into this year. So let's talk about that. So I have the bracket and the results from last year's Manga of the Year stream, which I was also a part of, and I'm thankful that I got to be a part of last year's and this year's. So last year with what we had One Punch Man versus Mashal, where One Punch Man obviously won, and then One Punch Man ended up winning the entire stream. We had Berserk versus Bleach, and Berserk beat out Bleach. We had Kingdom versus Undead Unluck, which hurt, because I enjoyed both, and the problem, at least last year, was that last year, I think I was one of 2 or 3 people that actually read Undead Unluck. Like, compared to... If you want to say that Eden Zero was robbed last year, fine. But, like, barely anybody read Undead Unluck, and it was also unfortunate that, like, they got paired up in the first place, but it is what it is. Like I said last year, in the stream last year, Dandadan and Sakamoto Days faced off, and Sakamoto Days won. This year it was a switch up, and Dandadan beat Sakamoto Days. Not that both of them aren't fantastic, because I have been day one agenda for Dandadan and Undead Unluck and Dandadan and Sakamoto Days. Oh my god. But I was a day one for Undead Unluck too. But like, that was, it was interesting getting to see that revenge match this year, and I still stand by what I did with Dandadan beating Sakamoto Days. Not that Sakamoto Days does not have its pluses, because it absolutely does. We had Attack on Titan last year against Elusive Samurai. Come on, that was such a stacked thing against each other. So Attack on Titan won. Record of Ragnarok versus Jojolion. Jojolion had an ending last year. That was a thing. Whatever your takes on that were. And Record of Ragnarok won. On the flip side, Blue Lock versus Oshinoko. Oshinoko beat Blue Lock. Tokyo Revengers and Blue Period. Tokyo Revengers beat Blue Period. And that is another discussion on like the difference from last year compared to this year. Oh my god. Dr. Stone versus Blue Box. That was a super early inclusion of Blue Box last year. My god. But Dr. Stone beat Blue Box, which was good. Kaiju no 8 versus Boruto. Kaiju no 8 beat it, which is good. Kaiju no 8, number 8, it was very close. It was almost included in both the popular vote and the judge vote, but it did get beat. So that is the thing. Eden Zero versus Mission Yozakura Family. Again, this was another one that was kind of unfair, but it was also one where, again, comparing last year to this year, not a lot of people read either of those 2 series of the judges that were included last year. And it's still amazing that Eden Zero was able to overcome as much as it did and get as far as it did. And then last but not least, we had Spy Family versus Komi. And not as many people read Komi, so Spy Family won. So that is a thing there. Once again, catching up to some of the judge chat. Let's see here. Excluding the Jump Plus manga who are getting an anime like Dandadan, Spy Family, and Kaiju 8, and Oshinoko, do you read any other Jump Plus manga? I read every other Jump Plus manga other than Heart Gear and 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. I read everything else, and eventually I will catch up to those too. But I read every new Jump Plus manga that comes out, and I read every new Shonen Jump series that comes out. Because I don't personally want to miss anything, and because we are given everything legally for free, I'm absolutely, I read everything. That is just how it is. Let's see here. What else here? Last year's stream absolutely was something else. OP community memes have enhanced my experience, but I avoid toxicity. I loved you last year. Very glad you came back. Was surprised people didn't vote in Mashal. Heard it's gotten stale lately, but still. Mashal is another one that a lot of people have argued has fallen off, and I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. And I personally, I am so thankful that there was such an outpouring of support for me to be part of the stream again this year. Which was funny because Roger had this whole poll thing and saying like, hey, who are some new people that you would like to be part of the stream? And everybody was just like, we're still gonna vote Axel. And then he messaged me before the thing was like, hey, like you're not a new judge, but like I was gonna bring you back anyway. So which made my day. Honestly speaking, I'm so glad that I got to do this stream this year with so many other YouTubers that I consider friends, and I enjoyed myself so much this year, man. Not that I didn't enjoy myself last year, because that was its own kind of fun too. But like this year, I definitely appreciated this year. What else in the chat? Let's see here. Are you and Crash doing the new Shonen Jump series video this year again? Yes, I think I can say that. I know Crash was planning on it. If I spoiled that, I apologize, but yeah, that is the plan for us to discuss the new Jump manga from the year. So I hope you look forward to that. People seem down in Mashal, and the fight with the shark teeth guy was pretty mad, but man, Komoto has gotten much better art-wise, and I'm liking last year. Yes, the art in Mashal has definitely improved. Visually, it has been a spectacle. Absolutely. It just, you can feel that Mashal is ending. And that, like, with each of these fights that we're getting, like, it feels like we are speedrunning everything. Other than, like, the Mashal key turn thing, which took forever. But it is what it is. Glad people aren't voting in Boruto and DBS off of nostalgia as much. Yes, I appreciate that as well, because they did not have as good of a year, let's be honest. You read Hokkaido Gals. What do you think of this year? I do read Hokkaido Gals. It's ending. You can definitely tell that it is ending. And it's one of those unfortunate things where it's just like, you knew that he was going to start turning down people because of his feelings that he had. So, like, I'm sad. I am, but I still enjoy the series a lot. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see. Are you gonna continue reading everything now that Jump Plus is gonna translate everything in 2023? Yes, I am, because I am a reading maniac. I am absolutely going to read everything because that's what I do. Because if I don't read everything, how can I recommend new things to you guys? So I'm that filter test. Like I am reading things for you guys, also for me, but I'm reading for you guys. So there's that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Didn't the Mashal author say it was ending soon? Yes. I mean, a third of the magazine is going to be ending within the next few years, and Mashal is one of them. So, let's see here. Kaido Gals was rough this year. Yeah, it has. I won't deny that. With the climax of the current Yozakura arc, how long do you think the series has? Honestly speaking, Yozakura could end in 2 years, I think. I don't know. It feels like it's another one that's potentially ending. Like, I mean, that being said, absolutely, it could have more plot to get into, like, new content, but I honestly think that Yozakura Family could be ending in 2 years just because it's covered a lot of content already, and I don't know what more it could definitely do. So that's my thoughts on that. Can you read Hajime no Ippo for me? Yes, I will read Hajime no Ippo. I have just been waiting to do that because I know it is a giant mountain to overcome. To read over 1,000 chapters to be caught up on Hajime no Ippo is insane. So I am honestly thankful that it has never been included in the Manga of the Year stream, solely for the fact that, like, it would have been, oh my god, so much. And, like, 2 or 3 people, if even, would have read it. And so, it, like, if it had been included and people are like, oh man, it got included, but nobody voted for it, like that would have been unfortunate. Let's see here. Axel question, Akane or P6? I'm going for P6. I have really enjoyed what PPP has done. So and it's hard because I enjoy both of them. I think the performing arts side of Shonen Jump right now is fantastic. I absolutely love it. But I would give it to P6 over Akane. So it's unfortunate that it didn't get included in the stream. But I really did enjoy P6 this year. Which is fantastic. Okay. Not gonna lie, I can't believe Chibi said he doesn't like romances that waste his time and then said he liked Anjo. As we learned from that stream, Chibi is a man of contradictions. He played the I really like Rent a Girlfriend the entire time, and then he was like at the end, by the way, I don't read or watch Rent a Girlfriend. And it's just like, why did we have to joke about this the entire stream then? Like, it was, oh my god. What else here? I think that catches me up to the things here. So let's talk. Let's talk about this year and the results from this year. So I've got the finished bracket on here. So I am overall again, I am very happy with how the bracket turned out. Honestly speaking, my expectations were absolutely crushed in the best way possible. Especially with how many people ended up catching up to so many things. Like, the readership of this year's stream was fan-frickin-tastic. Like, so happy with that. And I, honestly speaking, am happy with Undead Unluck winning it all. I think that it absolutely had a fantastic year, so I am super happy that it made it as far as it did. I am also super happy that Furin made it to second place. Like, again, that is insane to me. That we got as many people this year to read Soso no Frieren and actually got it to second place. Like, holy cow. Like, absolutely insane. And I do want to address here that, like, so with the top 4, 3 of the 4 were fan-voted series that made it into the stream. So Akane Banashi, Undead Unluck, and Eden Zero were all 3 of 16 series that were voted in by the public. And Soso no Frieren was one of the judge picks that made it in. So, honestly speaking, we were still a voice of the people with, 3 of the 4 making it in to the top 4. And then, obviously, Undead Unluck winning. With One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and One Punch Man, I do believe that they deserved their spots for seeded series. But in my own opinion, yes, I am happy that they got beat. Because there were a lot of other really good manga this year that made it in, that needed to be talked about. And I'm glad, at least seeing comments in like different places, in Discord, on Twitter, on YouTube, it's great to see that like we did have an influence on people to actually pick up some of these series that made it through. So I am super happy with that. I am super happy that, and that was the objective personally for me, is that like I wanted to make sure that certain series got in just so we could discuss them. Because it is a feat in and of itself that these 28 series made it into the discussion in the first place. The fact that we had, 16 series that were voted in by the public, and then we got the 12 series that were voted in by the judges. All of these deserve to be talked about in one way or another. So, let's talk about the more of the bracket. So, throat getting very dry. Been talking for 46 minutes already, so yay, stream. So talking about the bracket as a whole, going down the list, Kingdom versus Vinland Saga. I've enjoyed both a lot this year, but I did give my vote to Kingdom, and at least for me, the part of the justification that I gave for my vote there was that for Vinland Saga, while it has been great this year and I've enjoyed the story that it's presented, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed by how short the chapters were on a regular basis, despite being a monthly series. So there's been more that I've wanted that unfortunately I did not get, but I still really enjoyed Vinland Saga. Kingdom, on the other hand, has been a very strong year with the whole Roboku versus Kanki stuff that was going on. And I can't deny that I enjoyed it on a weekly basis. That being said, if you are anime only for Vinland Saga, Season 2, which is coming out, is going to be phenomenal. I'd be lying if I said I didn't expect some of the meathead audience to fall off on it, just because we are getting away from like the action that Season 1 had. But story-wise is fantastic. Let's see here. For Akane Banashi versus Oshi no Ko, I did vote for Akane to go through over Oshi no Ko. I did enjoy both this year. I did give it to Akane over Oshi no Ko. I would have been fine with either one advancing. I wasn't going to be upset either way, but that is how it is. Black Clover versus Children of the Whales. I was not going to let Children of the Whales die to Black Clover. No way in hell. No way. No way in hell. So I fought my damnedest to make sure that Children of the Whales got as far as it did, and I can be happy with it making top 16, even though I wanted it to go farther. So I'll put it like that. Moving into sub bracket 2, Hunter x Hunter versus Berserk. I didn't read Berserk this year. I did read Hunter x Hunter, so only for that reason, that is why I voted for Hunter x Hunter. Spy Family versus Mission Yozakura Family. Both of them had really great years this year, but for Spy Family, it didn't give me as much as Mission Yozakura did this year. So I had to give it to Mission Yozakura. Let's be honest, a lot of the hype that Spy Family did get this year was because of the anime, which was covering stuff from 2-3 years ago. So like, and even then, anime should not be influencing our opinions on the manga. That's just kind of how it is. Undead Unluck versus Ranger Reject. I would have been. This is single-handedly the most upsetting matchup for the entire bracket. Undead Unluck versus Ranger Reject hurt me so much. It hurt me so much. So I would have been happy with either one of them making it through. I feel really bad that we couldn't get both of them in farther. But like I did end up I can't even remember what I ended up voting for. I don't remember. Oh my gosh. I don't remember what I voted for. I think I voted for Undead Unluck, but I'm not 100% sure. But I would have been happy with either one of them making it farther in. But again, Undead Unluck ended up winning. So to lose to the series that won the entire thing, it does say something. Kaguya-sama versus Golden Kamui. Like I said, I did not read Kaguya-sama leading up to this stream, but Golden Kamui, I enjoyed binging that so much. And the Hell Train was super exciting. Especially with the bear on the train. Oh my god. V, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I really wanted Ranger to be in it more, but like again, speaking behind the scenes, Yato and I had to do a lot of work behind the scenes to get the votes to get Ranger Reject into the stream, and I'm very happy that we did. We made some great compromises. So because of the work that Yato and I were doing behind the scenes, that is why we were able to get Ranger Reject, Children of the Whales, Sign of Affection, and Golden Kamui into the 12 judge picks. So he and I were doing a lot of work to get it there, and I'm glad that we did, because they needed to be talked about. So you are welcome that we put in the work for those series. And the judges are welcome for getting Sign of Affection in here. Just look at how far Sign of Affection got. I haven't even gotten into it yet, but like, my god. You are so welcome that we put in the work behind the scenes to get it in there. And no money was passed in this backroom negotiating. So where was I? My Hero versus Frieren. Chibi went on his rant box for a very long time against My Hero Academia. We probably did not need as much discussion as we did on that. But I digress. Frieren had one of the best arcs, if not the best arc of the year, with the Eldorado arc. That is not even a question for me. Like, it was that good, and I am super happy with how that arc played out and how it ended. So to actually see it make it all the way through to the end, super happy. Witch Watch versus Witch Hat. This was never a question for me. It was always going to be Witch Hat over Witch Watch. That just, no. Witch Hat needed to get through. It is a gorgeous manga, the best paneling out there right now. It needed to get through, not a question. Eden Zero versus Blue Box, another one that was never a question for me. Eden Zero needed to go through. Blue Box is contentious for a lot of people. Let's be honest, there are a lot of romances that are out there that are better than Blue Box, but Blue Box is what is available. So that is part of the reason why it is in there. So yeah, I'm happy that Eden Zero made it through. Sleeping on Witch Watch, though. I read Witch Watch every week. I read Witch Watch. It's not like I don't read Witch Watch. I was reading Witch Watch weekly before we even had this. So yeah, and that is what it is. Before I continue, Crash saying, it was so hard to have a voice in the stream for me. I'm not the guy to scream over people, especially in the middle of the night. Lamau. If there was one thing, because I have experience from last year, I learned last year that you do need to fight to get your voice heard, or you need to wait for a pause once everybody else has spoken to finally speak for yourself. And so I did not hold back, per se, for this year. I am disappointed that more judges didn't get a chance to have equal time. But it is what it is. And that is at least why certain times I did try to give the floor to different people that I knew would talk about things. But yeah, you absolutely, again, from my experience from last year, you have to fight for it sometimes, especially when a lot of people are very loud voices in the room. Deservedly so. I don't think the stream would necessarily have been as enjoyable as it was if we didn't have like as boisterous of people. We had very chill moments in the stream though, which was like really good. We had some very civil discussions this year, which wasn't as necessarily a thing for last year. But yeah. Let's see here. Can I ask a real quick question if it gets seen? Yes, you can ask a question. Let's see here. Like, there was like twice we moved on, like with Four Nights of the Apocalypse, nobody said anything good about it, and we moved to the next round, and I was like, hey, before we go to that, Four Nights. And so, like, yes, everybody loved Sign of Affection. Nobody wanted to talk about Four Nights of the Apocalypse, save for, like, myself, Yato, and the Greek Weeb. And at the very least, because Greek Weeb is super big into Four Nights of the Apocalypse, I wanted him to have the floor. I was not expecting him to lay out each and every story plot point, so I did have to cut him off at some point, just so we could move forward. But yeah, there were a lot of ones where it's just like, oh, we need to speak on certain things. I don't know who said it, but someone mentioned Blue Box had an audience of people who recognize it's tropey and drawn out, but still enjoy it, and that's me. It is. If you don't think that Blue Box is tropey, you are wrong. Most of everything is tropey, regardless of what demographic you're in, regardless of what genre you're in. It all matters on the execution at the end of the day. Like, even if it is tropey. I think MHA was the only time things got really crazy, and that was killing MHA. Yeah, Chibi had that vendetta on it. Yeah. I don't know if there was a personal matter, but I think it stinks that Townsy made it at the very end. People voted for him to be there, not his votes. So that was an unfortunate thing where Townsy could not make it the day of because he needed to work and he could not get off of work. So that was the thing where we, at least for me, I wanted to make sure that Townsy's votes did go through. Because he could not make it the day of. At the very least, I'm glad that he made it when he did, because we needed his vote in that moment. But yeah, it did suck that he was the only judge that was not able to make it for the stream when he did get voted to be a part of it, and he did contribute for it. Let's see here. Blue Box epitomizes the issue with shonen rom-coms. It relies on style over substance, stalls out plot points, and has weak chemistry, and the love triangle is very poorly written. V has spoken. I'm not gonna argue with that. I enjoy it for what it is, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, fellow Cop and Dolphin fan. I hope your series has a good ending at least. I appreciate that. I do. I think the argument of Blue Box getting biased treatment because its Jump is weird because, well, it sells well in Japan where they have the full shoujo catalog. Just because they have the full shoujo catalog does not mean that Shonen Jump doesn't get a bigger spotlight in general. It is still a feat in and of itself that shoujo series have to fight as hard as they do to get the sales that they do. To even get an anime. It is such a struggle for shoujo to get anime over shonen rom-coms. It is ridiculous. And that is my piece on that. Let's see here. I think it would suck if I wanted someone to be there and they didn't get in and the person that was there didn't show up. Absolutely. It was also a bit sudden thing, by the way. It wasn't something we all knew beforehand to plan around it. Yes, we didn't know about the Townsy situation until the morning of the stream. So there wasn't a way for us to plan around it. We as judges had to... I organized an availability chart back in November to figure out a date, and I also had to make some workarounds in order to make that day work for me, because I originally did not want to do the stream on Wednesday, but I did not want to be the only person holding back Wednesday when it was available for everybody else. So unfortunately, that was just one of those things where for Townsy, he was not able to make it until, like, he did not make that call until that morning. Just curious, what did you think of last year's King of Lightning putting down Eden Zero for Spy Family? I still love King of Lightning, but that moment from him was uncalled for. Supposedly, he is now caught up on like Eden Zero and enjoys it. So, I got my win in the end, and I got Eden Zero farther than MHA got this year. So that is a win for me. I will take it. I will take it all the way for the bank. I'm happy with the brackets this year. Everyone was more fair and unbiased this year. Yes, I think that for the most part, and obviously there were exceptions to the rule, there was an equal representation throughout this bracket, and a lot of things were given the time that they deserved. There were certain series that should have been talked about a little bit more, but that's just kind of how it shaped out. But I think it was a lot more fair this year compared to last year. Let's see here. Let's see here. There are currently shoujo drastically outselling Blue Box to an insane level, and yet they will receive a tiny amount of attention in comparison. There's more at play here. Like I said before, shoujo still have to fight really hard to get where they are. I just really hope that people take this bracket and see it as a list of things to read instead of hate reading manga that beat their faves just so they can go and say it didn't deserve to beat X on Twitter. It still will. That is exactly how it will play out. There are a lot of people that will hate just to hate, despite the fact that everything on this bracket deserves to be read. That's kind of how it is. Let's see here. There was definitely bias. That's kind of the point, but the conversations were more civil, which made it more chill this year. Yes, there absolutely was still bias. Again, more people read everything at least, so that is a positive. I will take what I can. I already saw people talking about reading Akane to see if it was better than One Piece. I have seen that. I have seen people talking about reading Frieren. I've seen people talking about Sign of Affection. So we did our job. We absolutely did our job. This year's stream was so much better than last year's. I think I can agree with that. Let's see here. You think Roger should have a runner-up bench for next year, so in case another situation where someone cannot make it, there will be a sub-in? I mean, that is at least why we had James, his thumbnail artist, as a backup judge. So we did have that. We did have a backup situation, but we wanted to include Townsy's votes. So, I don't know. Anything in terms of structure and everything involving that is completely up to Roger, and I still, while there were still kinks to work out, I think what we did this year worked out really well. Let's see here. HLS probably won't get an anime anytime soon, neither will Moonlit Dusk, which is tragic. Yeah. The fact that Honey Lemon Soda is going to have to compete to even get an anime is ridiculous, despite the fact that it succeeds against all odds. Let's see here. Children of the Whales and Sign of Affection deserve the read, to be honest. Yes. And so I do want to give credit where credit is deserved. I fought as hard as I did for Children of the Whales and Sign of Affection because I have 2 Twitter friends in a group chat, V being one of them, that were pushing and agreeing that those 2 were shoujo that deserve to be talked about. I wish we could have talked about more shoujo, but I'm glad that we got those 2 in, and I'm glad that they recommended them because they were 2 of the most enjoyable binges that I've had. And that is why I enjoyed them as much as I did this year. No way Akane is better than One Piece. It's good, but not even better than P6. It's weird seeing people so into it. And that is something that I've thought about more in this last 24 hours. If I went back, I probably would have put One Piece over Akane, thinking about it more. It had a lot of peaks that were really good. I did agree that it had faults. I spoke up about them. I had people in the comments that were saying I was spreading misinformation on certain things. But I did enjoy both of them. And I thought that Akane had a really strong debut year. I'm not mad necessarily that it got through, because I personally had Kingdom beating out One Piece anyway, but it is what it is. I think for votes and people should make a ranking to address any potential matchup. Interesting point. I am still surprised P6 didn't make it, but I also understand not wanting too many Shonen Jump series on here. That was a problem too. We did cut certain things in the judge picks to get the 12 that we did, and P6 was unfortunately one of them. As Kichi would say, Akane Banashi is an industry plant manga. yeah, I won't deny that. What one-shot manga do you think could have made the bracket? I mean, honestly speaking, everyone was talking about Goodbye Eri, so that probably would have been the one that did it. I don't think Akane had any real outstanding highs yet, but One Piece was mostly awesome for me personally, even if it stumbled a bit. I do disagree with that point, because I think the antagonist in Akane Banashi had such an impact, at least it did for me, and I thought that was a really strong selling point for it. So that at least is what I think. I did think Akane had some really great moments, so it was really good. Getting back to the list, Sakamoto Days and Dandadan, I would have been happy with either of them going through. So, but Dandadan I did vote for and I thought was better. Four Knights of the Apocalypse versus A Sign of Affection. A Sign of Affection absolutely deserved it. Absolutely deserved it. That was not a question. It was super good. Moving on into the top 16. One Piece versus Kingdom. Like I said in the stream, I would have voted for Kingdom over One Piece. Both of them were good. I'm okay with One Piece beating it out. I would have voted for Kingdom. And I did vote for Kingdom. Akane Banashi versus Children of the Whales. I voted for Children of the Whales. Even if Oshi no Ko was in there, still would have voted for Children of the Whales. Chainsaw Man versus Hunter x Hunter. This was another one that was a toss-up for me. I threw out a vote for Hunter x Hunter, but I was fine with how the votes went out. I would have been fine with either one. Chainsaw Man beating Hunter x Hunter. I'm okay with that. Mission Yozakura's Family versus Undead Unluck. Once again, I said the Undead Unluck deserved where it got. Unfortunate matchup, but Undead Unluck beating Mission Yozakura Family. Jujutsu Kaisen versus Golden Kamui. Jujutsu Kaisen still had a better year. Like, again, we're judging Golden Kamui on 13 chapters versus an entire year of Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen takes it. And then Frieren versus Witch Hat. I did vote for Frieren over Witch Hat. I thought that Witch Hat was having a very strong year. I still stand by that. But the Eldorado arc was super good. Oh, making myself hoarse. I'm talking so loud. Let's see here. You think banning using the anime as evidence would have shifted any votes? No, I don't think so. I think compared to last year, we had a lot more people that were being fair on strictly judging the manga over the anime. I'd like to think so. The Spy Family stuff was brought up just because of how much of an impact that Spy Family has had. And I still really appreciate my joke that I said that Spy Family was the Wii of the manga world. So I do say that. Let's see here. I will just say you did a great job in the stream selling me on Children of the Whales. Sounds really like my kind of manga. I'm glad. I'm very glad. It absolutely deserves to be read. It is such a great manga. Each volume is fantastic. If you like mystery, adventure, great art, interesting characters, all that, absolutely fantastic series. So I highly recommend it. One Punch Man versus Eden Zero. I voted for Eden Zero. I thought it had a better year than One Punch Man. Honestly speaking, that was my pick there. Happy for it. Dandadan versus Sign of Affection. This was hard. This was another hard one, but I voted for Sign of Affection, and I'm okay with that. But Don Don had a really strong year, so I do want to say that. So that brings us to our top 8. Or not. Yep, top 8. Top 8. So we had One Piece versus Akane Banashi. Like I said, I would have put Kingdom there, and I would have put Children of the Whales there. And that one would have been very hard for me between Kingdom and Children of the Whales. I think I would have given it to Children of the Whales. Still, I would have given it to Children of the Whales. Chainsaw Man versus Undead Unluck. I have Undead Unluck beating Chainsaw Man. No contest there. That's how I have it. Frieren versus Jujutsu Kaisen. I still would have stood with Frieren beating Jujutsu Kaisen. So there's that. And then Eden Zero versus Sign of Affection. I would have been happy with this either way. But I did pick Eden Zero to make it in the top 4. And I'm glad that it made it to the top 4. So, fantastic. So, in the top 4, regardless of whether Kingdom or Children of the Whales had made it to the top 4, I still would have put Undead Unluck over either of those two. Just because Undead Unluck had a fantastic year. For Frieren versus Eden Zero, I voted for Frieren to beat out Eden Zero, but I thought both of them were great. And then making it to the final 2, Undead Unluck versus Frieren, I still would have voted for Undead Unluck. So, again, overall, I'm very happy with how this bracket turned out. Like, I thought, again, it is absolutely insane comparing last year to this year, Undead Unluck getting beat out in the first round by Kingdom, and then going all the way to win the entire thing for 2022. I am so happy that it won. I really hope that this gets more eyes on Undead Unluck for the manga and the anime as it comes out. I'm super happy. It's also insane to me that we had to wait as long as we did to get an anime confirmation for Undead Unluck. Obviously, Mission Yozakura waited even longer than you did, but I'm so happy. I am so happy with Undead Unluck winning, and getting where it did. So honestly speaking, yeah, that is my thoughts on the Manga of the Year stream. And I managed to keep this to just over an hour compared to the 5.5 that we had last night. So like I said before, I am still going to have a video for my top 20 of the year. I'm going to work hard to make sure that I get that out before the end of the year, so you guys know what my top 20 were overall. And I have a lot of interesting picks that did not make it into this top 28 that will be in that top 20. So I legitimately hope that you look forward to that, because I have some great recommendations in my top 20 if you're not reading certain ones already. Other than that, Axel, why are people cowards for not reading Dead Dead Demons? It's just one of those ones where it just didn't get enough votes, my man. But that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you. Also curious, have you been watching the Bleach anime? Yes, absolutely loved it. I'm sorry for kind of wrapping things up fast, but I need to get moving on some certain things at home. But I want to thank everyone that stuck around for this stream. I want to thank everyone that voted me into the stream yesterday and stuck around and watched that. You guys are amazing. Have you read Aoashi? If not, go read it. I do read Aoashi. I'll be talking about it later. But thank you guys for watching.